I think getting professional help sometimes is the way to go. And, but I mean, that's each different person. Some people are great with just venting to friends and talking to friends. And I mean, for many years, that's been me, but like, you know, I'm not ashamed to admit here lately, I've been, you know, experimenting with some therapy. I did therapy once in the past. The person wasn't, I don't want to say not the best therapist, but maybe not the right fit for me. But for the past, you know, few months, I've been trying out a new therapist, and actually things have been great. So, but you know, everybody's different, like you said. You did say something that's really interesting, like especially for men. Now I know it's not always, especially nowadays, to say that something is, you know, looked down upon for men. But I mean, that's one of the things I think is, you know, admitting that you're not strong enough to hold everything yourself, admitting that you need help. I still think there's I don't know what the word is, a stigma.
Yeah.
To that you're less of a man, like it's, you know, like it's somehow dependent on your masculinity if you can handle everything mentally. Man, sometimes people just have so much on them, they need to let some off.
Yeah, and it's that, like you said, there is that stigma of, you know, being the man, of like, you know, you got to be strong, you're doing it for other people, you know, just rub some dirt on it, you'll be fine, like, you know, it'll pass. All those little sayings that, you know, some moments, yes, those are the good things to say, but in most other moments they're not, because sometimes that feeling doesn't go away. Sometimes, you know, like you said, we do need some of the burden taken off of us, because there's a lot of people that, you know, they'll pack mule themselves and to the point to where they do break, and that's what happens, because we can't do everything. We need help. We have to be able to ask for help and be okay with it. Even if we know we're going to get rejected, at least they know, hey, I'm kind of struggling. Is there a way I can get help? No? Cool. That's fine. I'll figure out another way or whatever. But at least you're at least asking, and you're trying to get some help yourself.
Yeah, and it's hard. There's pride. Pride's a real thing, and I'm not saying I'm above it. There's been numerous times, you know, lately where my wife's been like, I'm here too. I can help. And, you know, it's just, some people are so used to doing everything for themselves, or not wanting to, and this is always my big thing, not wanting to bother other people.
That's my thing too.
To weigh them down with my problems.
Yeah. Yeah, I struggle with that as well, because, I mean, I do think, I mean, you know, I'm wearing the stigma of, I think I can do everything. I don't need help from somebody else. I don't, like you said, I don't want to put my burden on somebody else. But, you know, it's funny we say that and we think that, but then how many times do we have people just throwing burden on us, and we're like, whoa, I was just asking how you're doing today, but here we are, you know, let's go for it. So we do need to be more open, you know, as men and as human beings in general, of, like you said, asking for help, taking some of that burden off yourself so that you aren't weighing yourself down. We're not all Atlas. We don't all need to be holding the world on our shoulders at all times.
Yeah, and it's funny that oftentimes, and I've found this, that oftentimes the people who are the last people who want to burden somebody are the people who, I guess, they talk to, like, they would want you to contact them. Like, if one of my friends was going through what, you know, the stuff I've gone through and held to myself, I would want them to contact me. I would talk with them or to talk them through it. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like if I was doing it to them, I'd be burdening them. And I don't know, it's just a weird dichotomy. And I see it in a lot of people who are going through the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, so, you know, getting back to, you know, you working out, you touched on the fact that you've lost 80 pounds recently. It's helped you mentally and obviously physically as well, because there's less aches and pains. So you post a lot of your workouts I mean, not a lot, but you post a good amount of workouts online. You seem to be trying a lot of different workouts. Is there one specific that you like, or you just enjoy, just kind of getting in there and trying different things?
Well, like I said, for the majority of my life, I did one kind of working out. Yeah, essentially I did powerlifting. I mean, bench, squat, deadlift, rows, and overhead press. And I just alternated that. Here lately, I've been doing a lot of work that improves my joints. Because, like you said, they're breaking down. They've gone through a lot of trauma. So I've kind of, I both simplified and made things more complicated as it is. I've got a basic dumbbell workout that I do, just stuff at home. Like I don't have barbells right now. I'll probably eventually end up getting some as I, get stronger through range of motion, but I'm training through range of motion. So I don't know if you're familiar with a guy on YouTube. He's called the Knees Over Toes guy.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's really big on training through full ranges of motion because, to strengthen the little tendons and the smaller muscles that get neglected and whatnot to prevent injuries and bulletproof your joints. So I've taken a lot of his stuff. I've mixed it with some just regular dumbbell bodybuilding stuff. I've kind of just thrown together 2 upper body days and 2 lower body days a week that are, they're pretty heavy. Like, don't get me wrong. On the lower body days, it's normal for me to, if my Fitbit's accurate, to burn 1,000 calories. Lots of squatting, weighted squatting and stuff like that. But it's all about training through the range of motion. So like when I do my squats, my heels will be elevated so I can, sit all the way down. There's some rounded back movement that we train really light, but it's, to really train that lower back. I get a lot of, with the back stuff, I get a lot of decompression on my lower back, which is great, because I have spinal disc degeneration, in my lower back and in my lower neck. When I'm doing good, I've slacked a little bit here lately, but I'm always on my inversion table, get my lower back feeling better. So those 4 days, the upper body, lower body day, that's set. Like that's every week. And then I've got 3 more days. I try to work out. I try to do 7 days a week. It doesn't always work. Depends on how I feel after my shows that week. But DDP yoga is a big thing for me.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then, I have this one's kind of just fun, but it also helps my shoulder joints. I have a mace bell, which is a traditional Indian wrestler, workout tool. It's essentially just a 3-foot long stick. Mine's not very heavy. Mine's only 10 pounds, but it's got at the end of it, a 10-pound ball at the end. And so it's all about swinging and controlling the weight. And the farther the weight is from you, the heavier it seems, the harder it is to stop the momentum. So I do a lot of that too, just to switch it up. And like I said, that one's fun. I can do many different things with it. And sometimes I'll just take it and I'll beat the heck out of a tire for 30 minutes. And you want to get that farther than that. I like doing sleds if I'm at a place that has sleds. Like I do kind of like to mix it up. And sometimes I just like to train outside, so I'll go to a park and do something there. I found myself doing sprints. My wife runs, and she was doing a 10K, and my knees have gotten better, but they're not running 10K better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna put them through that. But so I went down to a park, and they had a soccer field on the park, and no one was there. It was 8:30 in the morning. So while she was running 10K, I was doing 40-yard sprints, 40-yard back pedals, high knee workouts, shuffle side stuff. Like I was training like I was playing football back in high school.
Right.
Kept doing, I do a 40-yard sprint, walk back, 40-yard back pedal, walk back. And I did that for about an hour, and like I had a crazy good workout. I hadn't sprinted, I couldn't tell you when, besides like in a ring. So I haven't sprinted over 20 by 20 in a while. But it's kind of just seeing what the body can do anymore, because I didn't experiment for so long. That's been a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of running. I love cardio. I'll do elliptical, rower. I'll do, Stairmaster all day, but you will not find me running. Those days are behind me. Not a fan.
Yeah, I love the Stairmaster. Elliptical bores me now. It used to be my thing. Now it bores me. I love the Stairmaster. I just started doing the rower probably 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that thing's been all my life. I love it. Now, the first time I did it, I did not pay attention to my form, and my lower back hurt for days. But like form down and everything, I love that thing.
Yeah. You could do more on a rower than you can, spending hours on a treadmill. It literally works your entire body, and I'm a huge fan of it.
I do love weighted sled pushes and pulls too. That's one of my favorites. If you have a spot to do like 40-yard sled sprints and then push it back and then do sequences of that, I love that, and that'll get you. There's been many times when I was at the gym doing it because they have the turf at the gym where I'm like lightheaded and I'm like, all right, I got to sit down for a minute because I've been pushing myself hard.
Yeah, I worked out with my buddy, and his gym has the sled, and he would warm up on leg day to do that. And I was like, because I've seen it done so many times, I just never been in a place that actually had it. So when I started messing with it, I was like, okay, I can get behind this. This is super cool.
Well, and it gets your heart rate up so quick, right? There's not that wasted time ramp up. Usually after one push pull set, you're there if you've got it weighted decent.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct, because that's real weight that you're pushing. It's not just, you're putting a pin in a machine and trying to, whatever weight that is. That's real weight on that sled that you're pushing, and you're having to pull it. So there's so many good workouts you can do with that. Yeah,
so I guess you're right. I do mix it up, but my 4 days of the mixture of the ATG knees over toe stuff and just basic bodybuilding stuff, those are my every week, and then I just kind of fill in. Like if I have a local show on a day, I might just go there early and just run in-ring drills and do it for cardio, and then squats and push-ups. Like it just kind of feels like it's what I feel like that day outside of those 4 set days.
That makes sense. There's a lot of times I'll, in my head, I'm like, all right, we're going to do some kettlebell stuff today. And I get in there, I'm like, let's just do arms or, whatever. Whatever you're feeling that day, just go with that. And as long as you're, getting moving and getting a sweat going, then, you're doing something right.
Yeah, no, 100%. For a lot of time, like when I first started working out, it was just doing something, right? Yeah. When I first started this whole thing, it's like, get a sweat in for 30 minutes every day. That's it, no matter how you sweat. And that was how I started. And, then once you develop the habit, then you start developing a plan. And so, it'd be months of this. Once I lost my first 20 pounds, then it kind of became, okay, now let's add yoga to it. So I have a plan. Like I first started with just body weight stuff or walking. Then it moved to DP yoga, and then the weight started coming into play, and then we're kind of here where we are now.
Yeah, that's good that you adapted and you learned that you at least tried other workouts. There's so many people that you've been doing the football one forever. And powerlifting for the most part, there are some people that are just like, nope, that's it. That's all I want to do. I don't, I see that I could do other things, but I like this, and I'm just going to stick with this and not do anything else.
And I think it was easy because the powerlifting had a goal. Hey, I'm going up 5 pounds this week. If I hit it, I'm making progress. If I don't, I got to work harder. It was basic mathematics right in front of me. And the stuff I'm doing like that too, but it's also range of motion, right? So like, if I feel myself get lower into a range of motion, but the weight's still the same, well, yeah, but I can tell I'm low in the range of motion, strength further through the muscle. It just took way too long probably to rewire my brain to see what success is.
Yeah. I mean, you had those